my noble friend agree with me that all members of this House should be working to eradicate all forms of hate speech. Yeah. And I note that the noble Lord Pearson, is desperate to get into this question, and maybe if he does have the opportunity to do so, he could explain whether he thinks it's appropriate for members of this House to be hosting the likes of Tommy Robinson within the precincts of this House at a time when there is an increased risk in relation to hate crime, and members of the other House have been receiving hate letters.
Well, I couldn't agree more with my noble friend that this isn't just a governmental thing, it's not just societal, but you know, as legislators for this country, we have got a strong leadership role to take, and it does dismay me when I see that certain quite extreme people are actually being invited into the Palace of Westminster to propagate some of their hate.
If I could, my lords, I have been mentioned, my lords, if I could stick to the question. Does hate speech include criticising Islam or any of the world's great religions as opposed to insulting their adherents? Does our legislation make that distinction, and if not, shouldn't it do so?
Well, there's a clear distinction between expressing one's own opinion, and that can offend people. There is a right to offend, but there is not a right to propagate speech which actually goes to a particular characteristic, whether that be race, religion, disability or sexuality, which actually promotes the hatred against that person.
I have said time and time again, if we don't get this issue dealt with, then the British public will. They will end up taking matters into their own hands. Take Northern Ireland as a prime example. Militias will be set up, and then the UK government will have a problem beyond their wildest dreams. Inaction will only facilitate the creation of a disgruntled and angry population who will end up cleaning out this Islamic problem.
He's been so loud and vocal about not wanting them in his country, as he keeps labelling it. His country, his capital. It's not your country or your capital. You're part of an invasion into our country, Sadiq. That's what you are, it's our country.
And it boiled over, right? Anyone who's not happy with the peaceful protest movement, if they're not happy with seeing C-grads, black lads at demos on stages, if they're not happy with our organisation having support for Israel's right to exist, if they're not happy with the route we're taking, and they do want to be more militant and more extreme, and they do want people who give Nazi salutes to give speeches at their demonstrations, then these people, you're free to go and start your own organisation. If you want to call it United British Infidels, whatever you want to call it, fair play to you. You go, you do it, and I wish you luck, because either way, you're going to be a thorn in militant Islam's side. So crack on and do it, lads. If that's what you want, if you want to follow the English Defence League, follow the English Defence League. The route we've chosen is the right route to attract the masses through peaceful protesting. You want to go out, you want to be militant, you want to be extreme, you want to beat people up, you want to smash things up, you want to riot, go and do it. Stop talking about it. Because that's all I've seen so far is a whole load of smoke and no fire about how extreme some people want to be. Well, go and do it. But don't do it in the English Defence League's name. You've got that option that if you want to start your own group, you want to have your own demonstrations, you want to have your own protests, good luck, Chuck. Do it, lads. Just don't keep, in the build-up to every one of our demonstrations, starting rumours, coming from the same people, spreading them around different divisions, start spreading lies, causing division, coming to demonstrations intent on kicking off. Don't do it. Just do us all a favour. Do your own thing. You're welcome to it, and we wish you luck in doing it. Just leave it away from the English Defence League. Let us do what we're doing, which is taking the right path to have our voices heard.